Am I the a-hole for not showing how upset I was that my ex was with another man a month after we broke up? My ex and I were together for 2 years. She wanted to get engaged. I wanted to be in a better financial position before proposing. She wanted us to move into a bigger apartment together. I wanted the both of us to stay where we were, because even paying rent for the 2 apartments was cheaper than the 1 apartment she wanted us to move into, or, alternatively, for her to move into my apartment, which is cheaper than the one she lives in. She called me a cheapskate. I told her she spends well beyond her means, and I don't want to be responsible for her debt. She called me commitment phobic, then broke up with me. It wasn't easy for me. I love her still, but love isn't enough. I realized we were not compatible. The realization hurt, but it's true. Over the weekend, I met some friends at a bar. After a couple of drinks, one of my friends gave me a nudge and a head tilt towards the bar. I look over and there's my ex. She's looking right at me. I can tell she's been waiting for me to notice her. She turned to the guy next to her and kissed him, then turned back to look at me. I lifted my glass in a congratulations gesture, then turned back to my friends and carried on with my conversation. An hour later, we're leaving, and she jumps out at me out of nowhere. My friends and I started laughing because she was just there, like she was conjured to that exact spot by magic or something. Then she slapped me, called me a bastard, shoved me in the shoulder, then disappeared as fast as she appeared in the first place. We left laughing about it. The next morning, I'm woken up by banging on my door. It's my ex. She's crying and calling me heartless, said I don't care that she's already out with someone else. I didn't tell her that I do care, and that seeing her with another guy cut me up. I stood there while she yelled and cussed me out, while she shoved me multiple times. She looked so beautiful in her anger. I continued to stand there silently when she asked if I still love her, if I miss her. She left eventually. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Bullet dodged. Wow. I'll make sure you're looking and then kiss a guy in front of you. And how dare you just continue your evening with your friends? You owe it to me to what? Get in a fight with the guy I kiss? Start crying? Rage? Just wow. He definitely dodged the bullet. I bet the guy she was with doesn't know she showed up at OP's door the next day. How dare her ex continue to live his life? She has confirmed, beyond doubt, that he is better off without her. Hopefully the other guy got to see her nonsense too. Don't bring a third into your post-breakup fighting. Laughing my butt off. She expected you to what? Get back with her because she intentionally made out with another guy in front of you? People are freaking crazy. Or maybe she wanted him to show how broken up he was. Like get in a fight with the guy, or come shout at her or cry or rage or stalk away. She can't stand that he continued with his evening, instead of making his entire evening about her. Talk about self-centered. Next story. Am I wrong for leaving my wife? Hello readers, long-time lurker here. I made a new account to get some insight as I don't want my Reddit friends to see me getting too personal. I, 29 male, and my wife, 30 female, have been together for a while, 10 plus years. We were high school sweethearts, prom king and queen, voted most likely to get married and stay disgustingly in love. You catch the drift. After college, we went on to get married and have 2 kids. Life was fairly good, relationship and family-wise, until about a year and a half ago. I work a good-paying job that allows my wife to be a stay-at-home mom while running an out-of-home business. However, our youngest had to be hospitalized for a heart condition, which required me to be putting in constant overtime, as the insurance was giving us hell to cover the bills. My wife had to focus on our kid, so the loss of her income was affecting us as well. About 6 months into our child being in and out of the hospital, I broke down crying on my wife's lap. I was losing weight, barely eating, barely sleeping, because I had to keep food on the table, the lights on, and still pay medical bills. My wife suggested she sell her eggs. She had seen a video on TikTok about how much you get paid to do so. We were skeptical at first, but we did it. Long story short, we did it twice and made a ballpark of $20,000. Our daughter stabilized, and I was able to take 2 weeks off to recoup from a traumatic time and get back to being a family unit again. Now on to why I'm considering leaving my wife. 3 months ago, she came to me and said she was pregnant. I was ecstatic. Then the bomb dropped. It wasn't mine. She had gone through the process of being impregnated by her best friend's husband's sperm, surrogacy of some sort. She thought I would be fine with it because, in her words, "You were fine with me selling my eggs before. Why is this different?" Because this time, she's selling her womb, and I had no say in it. There was zero discussion, zero indication that this was going to happen. We had been distant in the months before, little to no sex, but I'm not one to pressure my wife if I know she's not in the mood. These past 3 months have been draining. I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom. We've literally been co-parenting. The kids are confused, and I don't know what to tell them. She keeps saying it isn't a big deal because, in a couple of months, the baby will be with its parents and we can move on. But our children are thinking she's carrying their sibling. How do we explain this? We've been talking to our therapist, but I just don't see how we can move forward. In my opinion, this is an act of betrayal. I've been making preparations to file for divorce after the baby is born, probably about 3 months from now, so she isn't blindsided. Our families and friends are split. Her family's making me feel less than a man because I couldn't provide enough, so she had to resort to something like this. But we've literally gotten past the worst. There was no need to do this. We were slowly building our savings back up, and she had gone back to her business. Am I wrong for leaving? Edit. Note, I see a lot of people assuming I want to work it out. I don't. I've already made up my mind to get a divorce. My wife knows this, as I have given her a timeline. Around 3 months after giving birth, she should expect to be served the papers. I've been slowly taking steps to distance myself and make sure she's sorted out as well. As much as she's broken my trust, she's still the mother of my kids, and I wish her well. Is your wife trying to reconcile? What have her friends said about all of this? Have they reached out? Yes, she wants to reconcile. She's been actively trying to, but it's too late in my opinion. The friends are apologetic they have affected our relationship, but in my opinion, they are happier they are finally having their child. I've taken myself out of the equation and asked them to please respect me this time and leave me alone. Yes, it's 100% my wife's egg and the best friend's husband's sperm. Her best friend has been through rounds of failed IVF. Since my wife has had success with her donor eggs, they thought it best to use my wife's. Did they, your wife, her best friend, and the husband write a contract before they did the at-home insemination? And was it written by a lawyer? Or is this all just a verbal agreement? What happens if this other couple backs out, or she gets attached and carries to term? What then? Will you be expected to raise some other guy's kid? What about the financial implications down the road? So many potential legal snags. This is a total mess. This is such a betrayal to everything your marriage stands for, in my opinion. You need to go see a lawyer now. You need to protect yourself and your children from this mess because the chances of this working out like your wife thinks it will are slim to none. As far as I know, it has been a crap show. They thought to forego all legal aspects. It was a verbal agreement with text messages as proof. They have provided all the expenses for my wife though. In my opinion, they were honestly just desperate for a child. The best friend has had around 5 miscarriages over the course of their marriage. How are they planning to get around the fact that your wife is the legal mother? And in most states, the husband is presumed to be the father unless legally stated otherwise. You need to consult with an attorney now about your divorce and about who the legal parents of this child will be at birth and who has what legal obligations to the child. Could you or your wife be forced to pay child support? This is why legal surrogacy contracts are so important. You are not wrong. Your wife went behind your back and none of them thought about the legal implications of what they've done. This is why I haven't filed right away. This situation is complicated enough as they haven't thought everything through. They have completely uprooted our lives without thinking. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife's affair partner's wife about their affair? I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, 37 female, for 11 years and together for 16. We have 3 kids together, 14 and 9 males and 3 female. We own our house together. Our relationship has been a roller coaster to say the least. I've been a terrible partner and companion to her for the majority of our relationship. I haven't cheated on her in more than 5 years, but the times I have in the past, it's clear now she never healed from the hurt. For the past 6 months, she reconnected with an old guy friend after his brother passed away. Since our relationship has just been on coast with no connection, she was vulnerable and opened up to this guy. She fell in love with him and they began having a relationship. In the meantime, I was oblivious to all of this. Even though there were signs, I didn't pick up on them. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, her contempt towards me has brewed to the point I flat out asked her, "What's going on?" She said she's not happy, hasn't been for months, and she wants a divorce. I asked her if there's someone else. She lied initially, but eventually broke down and admitted she's in love with this guy and they had an affair last week. Up until that point, I'm the only guy she has ever slept with, so I know how serious this actually is. I was hurt and broken. I know the guy from her family and know that he lives far away and has a wife of his own and children. In my hurt, I felt that his wife had the right to know about this affair. I found a way to contact her and told her about it. She broke up with the affair partner and kicked him out. This in turn has snowballed into him not speaking to my wife. My wife, who is in love with this guy, is now not speaking to me about it. The truth has come out that the affair guy has just led my wife on and preyed on her vulnerability. He doesn't love her or wants to be with her. She's heartbroken over it and blames me for telling her affair partner's wife. She won't speak to me now. Am I the a-hole for telling the affair partner's wife? Now for the comments. Everyone sucks here. Your wife for cheating. You for cheating and being a terrible partner. Your own words. And the affair partner for cheating. Now, I don't think you're bad for telling the affair partner's wife. She has the right to know that her significant other is a cheating scumbag. I never understand when one partner can cheat and then act betrayed when their partner cheats on them. You betrayed your marriage vows first. Yeah, seriously. Cheaters getting butthurt about being cheated on? That's something else. It's crazy. And then he said that at least the people he cheated on her with were single. That doesn't make it any better. At least he told the woman who was the only innocent party here. Both him and his wife are a-holes. Everyone sucks here. Affair partner is a horrible human. Your wife was an a-hole for participating in an affair. You're the a-hole for somehow feeling entitled to the moral high ground. When you cheated, did you let any of your affair partner's partners know? Were you the one who came clean to your wife? Why was this infidelity the one that needed sharing? Your wife has awful taste in men. That doesn't excuse her hurting you or risking hurting your kids, but you broke the relationship beyond repair. I feel bad for OP's wife, honestly. Only men she has ever been with were both lying, cheating a-holes who used her and tossed her to the side when they didn't want to play anymore. I hope she gets that divorce and finds real love. Seriously, the victim in all of this is her. Just from the way OP words things, he sounds like a manipulative a-hole who's all about him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my wife's affair partner go to her funeral? My wife passed away. She was in a car accident. We had separated for a few months, and this was due to her wanting to be with her affair partner. They had been together for about a year and a half. They told me they had been genuinely in love. I only found out a few months ago, and the divorce hasn't been finalized. So legally speaking, I am responsible for my wife's body. We have 2 kids, both of them in their teens, and they have been a mess. I can't say I've been much better. At one point, I was so angry at my wife that I wanted her to get hurt. Now I find myself wishing she was still here with me and our kids. I've been making arrangements for the funeral, and the affair partner has reached out to me on social media. He's been asking if he could know if we are going to have a funeral or a memorial service or something. I told him to get lost. I keep justifying this. I'm trying to keep my family from falling apart, and I've been dealing with the funeral costs. There's just so much I need to do, but I'd be lying if I said part of me didn't wish for this guy to hurt. Send him a text and say that there will be grieving children there, and they don't need any extra drama, so he needs to respect your family and wait for another day to see her grave. I'm sure that you don't want to reach out at all, but if you don't, Then one of her friends who surely knew about the affair might tell him the time and place, not the a-hole. Good advice. Go one further and ask a friend to contact affair partner to tell them this and gauge response of affair partner to assure he will be respectful of the situation and the kids. Talk to the funeral home about security or having friends or family escort him discreetly away and not tell you if he shows up. This is not a new situation for the funeral home, I promise. They've seen everything and will do whatever is necessary to keep things peaceful and respectful so the family can grieve with dignity. They can be on watch for him and get rid of him should the affair partner have the lack of respect to show up. She's paying. He's more than able to hand her full estate to her partner and he can pay with her money. Tell exactly where the heck you got any of this. Most of the funeral expenses are being covered by insurance, but I am not spending a cent on this using her money. Why isn't her partner organizing this funeral anyway? I would absolutely hate it if my ex organized my funeral. Legality. I'm still legally next of kin. Even if I let him take over, he is not exactly welcome in her family, assuming he knew how to get in touch with them in the first place. None of them knew about this before my wife and I separated. He was kept secret from her family. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not stopping my husband from getting the paternity test? My husband recently asked me for a paternity test. Why? Because our son looks nothing like him. I never cheated on him. I would never. He knows he was my first and only partner. I told him he can have the test. Who am I to stop him from it? He took the test and found out our son is actually his, and he seemed very happy. I told him congrats. Now you are sure it's your own son you are paying child support for. He asked what does that mean, and I told him if he thinks I cheat on him, then we truly shouldn't be married. I took my son and left, and we are currently staying in a hotel and I'm going to get divorced. He keeps calling and texting and begging me to come back, but I don't want to. He said if I had such a problem with the test, then I should have stopped him instead of allowing it and then acting like a bratty child and ruining our lives. I'm not sure how I'm the one ruining our lives. He's the one who thinks I'm a cheater. He should be happy he doesn't have to live with a cheater anymore. You didn't have a problem with the test. You had a problem with him asking for the test. The asking is what ruined your marriage. It's not even about the test. It's about the lack of trust that the test represents. Validly, OP has a problem with the fact that her husband did not trust her. Trust is one of the foundations of a healthy relationship. He has demonstrated that he doesn't have trust, therefore the foundation of the relationship is broken and it's over. I'm a guy and I've noticed the strange things about guys. They dig their own graves and all of a sudden get insulted when told to jump in it. I bet he thinks with his head before his mouth in future. Nah, he will learn nothing from this. He will blame her to avoid the guilt. To be honest, I've always thought that I will do the same if I ever got an accusation like that. The whole, but they don't look like me thing is so freaking stupid. Yeah, I'm not a freaking copy machine. And if he claims, if you had a problem with a test, remind him that you never had a problem with the test, you have a problem with his insulting insinuations and judgment of your character, and you're especially hurt by his lack of trust in you. Personally, I think he's projecting. The ones who accuse their partner of cheating, without just cause obviously, is usually the one cheating. I would do some digging, especially if your state is an at-fault state. Sorry that your husband is dumb, but I hope things get better.